It is our responsibility. The awareness of the human has to be at a certain level in order to use these tools correctly, to use any technology correctly, and that includes psychedelics.
I would agree completely. I think that psychedelics, especially as we're moving into the psychedelic renaissance, uh, needs to up the level of responsibility around this as a collective. I've created the BlueMorpho Academy, and BlueMorpho has transitioned into being an academy because we've realized we have to teach. We have to share the knowledge and teach people, not just share the healing experiences, but actually teach the knowledge which underpins it and the forms of medicine and understandings of consciousness, because the entire use of psychedelics comes with such an innate responsibility. And just like these technologies we're talking about, it is its own form of technology. So people who've utilized psychedelics know that the expansive creativity, the openness of mindset that comes, the shift in beliefs and understandings, this interaction with something that you know isn't you, that's now part of you, et cetera, all is a form of kind of technology. And some people call them plant-based technologies, et cetera. Fundamentally, at the deepest core, a kind of benevolence. And a way, there's also a way, like we talked about earlier, for people to distort that with their own motives. But we must bring up the foundational level of understanding. And that's why we've created this academy.
So, what kind of offerings do you have in Blue Morpho Academy?
We just started. And so we'll actually have the first courses going out in June. And next month in May, we're going to start the early whitelist signups. But fundamentally, it's a progressive program to train 4 different kinds of roles within the psychedelic renaissance or plant medicine space. So there's the sitter, the coach, the facilitator, and master facilitator. And a sitter is exactly what it says. It's somebody who's learned all the safety, dosing, understanding of the plants, but their role is to sit and observe other people who are having a self-guided psychedelic experience and to know how to intervene in the case of emergency or problems. Um, the but they don't actually take the medicines themselves. They don't fulfill the role of a shaman. And we know that the space and sitting is going to be a Western implementation of these practices. And so we know we need people who are trained. It's not a designated driver, right? Like you went and got trained to go drive a car and now you're just not going to drink that night. That's not the role of a sitter. The role of a sitter needs a safety plan. They need an emergency medical plan. They need to know CPR. They need to know how to intervene with somebody who has a psychologically extended or difficult experience or crisis. They need to know the proper way to treat somebody when they're in and talk with somebody when they're in a psychedelic experience. You can't just treat somebody who's in an altered state, like the same way you would talk to somebody in a sober state. They have to go through training themselves to be more empathetic and more compassionate, et cetera. So, we cover in the foundations course all of that kind of information. For coaches, there's a huge coaching world out there. These mentors and coaches, and what we're going to see in the world is that uh, coaches without having plant medicine experience are going to have lots of clients that are going to ultimately have psychedelic or plant medicine experiences, and they won't have any information. And so coaches are going to need to up level their understandings in games for this entire transition that's taking place. And so to be certified as a coach, you have to already be a coach, or you have to go through a coaching program that teaches you the basics of coaching and mentoring. And then you add all the plant medicine understandings associated with it. So very similar to the sitter, but then also with a little deeper understanding about how to give advice to people who are going through integrating experiences, post experience, and bring that into their coaching practice. The sitter course could take, I think, legitimately 3 to 6 months for somebody to become a certified sitter, from the 2 months of academic study and then another month to 3 months or 4 months of actual hands-on practice. And then for the coach, like I say, you have a prerequisite of already learning coaching and then adding that. And so that could be anywhere from probably 3 months to 6 months. And then you have the idea of a facilitator, and a facilitator is taking this practice one step further, where now you're going to actually be facilitating these experiences for others. You're going to be actively providing dose for them